want to go live. Yeah. Yes, that's right, Mother Nature. You couldn't destroy me. And you never will. You evil bitch. That's right. There's no wind, no rain, nor sleet, nor snow, nor sun too bright to keep the Friday locker room from shining here on channelattitude.com. Oh, it's the drive-thru? Yes. What's that? You ordered a destroyed country and pathetic wrestling? Yes, that'll be 9/11. Please pull forward. YOLO!
Send all payments to hackerhameen@gmail.com. What's up?
Oh, I love that in the morning. Hear my man Rated R, the Hacker Hameen theme out there. Rated R, right in Tornado Alley with me, man. With 2 days without power, so I know he was getting salty. I love the memes he posted, and just an unbelievable MC and a good friend of mine, man. So shout out to my man at Rated R CNY. Give him a follow. Check out all his music. He's cut mad albums. And obviously a huge supporter of everything I've done. So that got me pumped up this morning. I need a little extra juice because, man, it's been quite a week. I got a little salty last night. I was just worn out because I kind of worked 3 days on about 6 hours sleep. The first 48 was about 15 minutes sleep because it was, I don't know, a tornado hit. And it's not like, oh, in my backyard, like in my backyard was the.
How dare you have a tornado and not upload the Monday Locker Room? What's your problem?
I get it, man, and I have been lax on the schedule, and I do need to get with the HMG producers. I'll own it myself. Look in the mirror. Yeah, dude, this Ravens joint thing is unbelievable. And like the opportunity, I can't even quantify it on air because I don't like to put my biz out there like that all the time. I mean, I'll talk plenty of biz, but never,
Look, the fact of the matter remains, Hameen media listenership. Okay, Ben Hameen is in a position now where he's trying to build his future financially, and the money that he is getting from the store is outweighing the other additional work that he would need to do in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Money talks. People walk. Ben Hameen is walking to the bank to get his fucking bag.
Yeah, dude. And at the same time, though, I'm a chop wood, carry water motherfucker, and I know how awesome this Hameen Media Group Bearcats is for so many people. You know what I mean? Whether we're giving them just an escape on the road or some laughs or catching up on news or whatever it is, sharing that community. And I know it is important. And even though the schedule's I've been trying to get all the shows up because all the producers and hosts work super hard, but I just may need to revamp workload, in another month. And that's just how it'll go. And hopefully
you got plenty of good producers, under your tutelage. You're waiting to help.
Yeah. And really, and I'll be open about the books, all the money's about to go to you guys, like that HMG will generate. So I'll just kind of end up being more of a talking head because I just can't keep up with HMG local social media, which also may get offloaded. HMG channel attitude, Ravens joint as well. To keep that schedule is just, it's impossible really working 15-hour days. But I appreciate everybody, staying subscribed and being part of the community. And, I just had to bust balls last night because legit, it was no power for 2 days. You can't go 50, 60 yards in to your left or your right on any block. And there isn't a $10,000 to $50,000 tree damage for 40 square blocks, 50 square blocks. Then the tornado pushed a B-52 that's decorative on base off of the missile silo where I live, pushed it right off of the platform. Like, that'll tell you how strong the wind is that it picked up a B-52 off the ground, moved it, came through, ripped the roof off of the Tops Friendly Market, not so friendly market, I guess, flipped the car completely in Kentucky Fried Chicken parking lot, took the Aldi's and Burger King signs and crumpled them up like they were fucking aluminum foil. There's like a big mural of the Revolutionary War riders from Fort Stanwix blew that wall right out. Obviously, doesn't like American history, so probably a Taliban tornado caused by my heart machine. And then ripped the whole top of a church right off the steeple, bro. So massive tens of millions of dollars worth of damage, if not hundreds. And so many crews from around the state and out of state, probably all tech guys to Spectrum guys, just an army of bucket trucks and chainsaw guys and cleanups and heavy equipment operators. You go by any of the Walmarts or grocery stores at night, the whole parking lot is just a sea of bucket trucks out there, dude. Probably 600 of them. So everybody's working hard, and to even get the power back on in 2 days is no small feat. And there's going to be 6 months of cleanup ahead, like roofs ripped off, windows blown out. And we usually don't, like, maybe every 15 years get a tornado, but it usually touches down out in the woods and just does a lot of tree damage. Maybe some, country folks' houses are affected, but this hit right in the middle of the city of Rome, came right over the missile silo. And I'm lucky I didn't have more damage than I did. Just a big tree down that's kind of touching my neighbor's roof. I'll have to cut that up with the old man in the Husqvarna chainsaw on Sunday. And then a shutter got ripped off that I got to go out and put back on. So, but a lot of people got it a lot worse for sure, man. I was thankful the wives were in Kentucky this week visiting in-laws back at OVW. So scary shit, man. But last night they were pressing. I'm like, go back in my timeline 2 days and see that I just fucking made it through a massive direct hit tornado. And they're like, hey, what's up with that HMG assassination episode? Which I understand, and I appreciate that you want to hear my fucking opinions on things, or my thoughts. And yeah, man, and that's ever changing and an incredible thing too. And people need that escapism, and that's why I hope to continue for a long time with HMG, and just got a revamp of what we're doing in the workflow process, because it's important to me and it's important to you guys, and I know it. I appreciate it, but I almost got fucking destroyed by a tornado.
I think that's a good excuse.
Yeah,
it's just been. It seems like it's just been one of those weeks in general for everybody, right? We were talking about before we got on there. I've been sick all week. Saturday I left work because I wasn't feeling well, and as I was driving home, my car overheated. $1,500 later to new water pump. So, I had to pay that this week. I've been sick all week. The president is getting trying to get assassinated. They're trying to remove Joe Biden. We got crazy things going on, and then of course we got to talk pro wrestling, right? That's what we're here for. So,
and that's the whole thing of, like, to come back and have to talk that is the hardest part, isn't it? Like, that was how we felt on Russo Brand this week, and it's interesting, Maddie, how you lay out the human experience like that, and how when it rains it pours, and those things compound. And I'm out in the streets doing deliveries for Ravens, and I've seen and felt in myself palpable road rage from multiple people, and just witnessed it. And, like, people who may not be, as I'd like to think, as well adjusted as you and I, and have an outlet. Their pot is boiled over, bro, and people are losing it out there big time. So keep your head on a swivel, be safe, and don't engage in situations you don't need to, because humans are not acting normal, and they're acting out because the frustration level and the veil is dropped
on both sides. On both sides.
Yeah.
Right. Specifically, let's say you're a Democrat where you're being fed this for the last year that this guy's fine, and then he comes out on the debate and the veil drops, and now you're hella confused because you're just like, wait a minute, I'm just this casual news person. I'm not a conspiracy person. I got my Democratic Party telling me this is the guy, but this guy clearly isn't unfit, and I don't like the other guy for whatever morally objectified reason, whatever you have. So now you're feeling pissed, right? Like, you're confused, you're pissed, and then you see the president potentially gets shot, and then there is this wave of American I don't know what you want to call it, American patriotism that comes out of it, which rightfully should. That pisses that people off even more because it's like, you're just making this guy look like even more of a hero. So, like, you're right. There's a lot of unhinged people on both sides, too, right? I mean, the other side is still unhinged from 4 years ago, feeling like the election was stolen. So there's just a lot of divide going on, and you know, it's definitely one of those times where you gotta have to walk on eggshells around people in public.
And that's why I didn't even really tune into any of the shit last night. I mean, I saw the Hogan clip.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, I just don't want to even really participate in this exercise of negative stimulation for yourself. Like, I got this awesome thing going right now, and that just needs to be my focus. And I'm thankful that it's taken me out, but I get out of the like, oh, I got to see what's going on and deconstruct this. Now, when it comes to the assassination attempt, oh, I'm all in on that when it comes to the study of it and who's behind it, because pulling that thread on that sweater, watch that unravel as I walk away. And they'll soon be naked, lying on the floor.
You know, I know you guys kind of touched on the Monday locker room about this, you and Rick. Of course, I listened in. I just, you know, just to get my outlet here.
Did you listen on Hameen Media Group, where it was up free all week on YouTube, where this is, and twitch.tv/Hameen Media? Or did you wait till last night when I uploaded it at channelattitude.com?
Let me see if I go to Ben Hameen on his page right
it's not
here.
It's not on my
page.
We
we got banned, right?
Yeah, yeah, that should end today. I tried to stream this on mine, but
I watched it live. I was watching it on YouTube. Yeah. Well, I started on your Twitch, and then I moved over to YouTube, and I watched it live.
Sorry.
But what I was going to say was I found, you know, and I think this has just been interesting. I had a lot of conversations with people who even not necessarily following politics, conversations with family and friends. And the consensus, like, everyone was like, nobody wants this guy to die, right? Nobody wants the president, the guy who's, or former president in general, about politics, especially on national TV. Nobody wants to see someone get shot, right? But the interesting thing coming out of this, right, is I guess the media portrayal, right? I mean, when you stand up and you're saying fight, 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 while you got blood coming down your face in front of an American flag, as an American itself, how do you not feel some sort of pride, right? I mean, because like that is like the spirit embodiment of American, right?
What have you? Yeah. That's, I mean, what you're talking about is the spirit of '76. That's even the wrestling spot, right? Like.
Right.
Get taken out and then come back bloodied with your head wrapped with fucking, here comes a drum, and you're ready to beat the fuck out of whoever's in your way. You can't be taken out. And that is what that image is. That also feels to me it's so pro wrestling.
Dude, it felt like a pro wrestling show. As I watched it and the fans started chanting USA, USA, I went, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Should have hit my music right there. Oh, fuck you. Right. Out comes the flag. Yeah, I'll miss that.
August 6th, Hall of Fame, Mortal Championship Wrestling, upstate New York, mid-state New York, wherever I'm driving. I don't know. Me and Bo will be there. Some other people. Come say hi.
It's going to be cool, man. But yeah, where is Vince McMahon? And if you're talking about false flag, it's not just like, oh, Biden and the deep state wanted him taken out. Well, maybe he's in on it as a wrestling promoter. Maybe that exact perfect shot of, not from the rifle, no, but the camera shot, was not some, they got the art perfectly, that they found hard cam. Stevie laid this out too. He happens to find hard cam, hit the beauty pose with the perfect up shot of the flag, dog. Like,
the Secret Service just lets him take the picture after being shot at. Nobody tries to protect his head or get him out of there.
Yeah.
All coincidental there at the end, for sure, you know?
It's so interesting, right? Of who's all in on it. So then when you say words like Democrat and Republican, you're just like, there is no such thing. That's a work, right? Like totally. It's just all them in power. And what theater won't they construct? They already own all the media. To me, that's a far more worked thing that he's in on it. Is it out of the realm of possibility? I don't know. But the fact that I think the deep state and the rest of them want him taken out, that's what the other part of that too.
You know what? I had this, it's funny because my mom, not a conspiracy theorist at all, neither my dad, and I called them up the next day and we had a conversation. And my mom instantly, she goes, it's just kind of weird that he comes out on stage after this debate, and she's like, if I was playing like, I don't know, 4D chess, she's like, wouldn't the right thing to do be like, Biden's not the guy. So let's go ahead and make Donald Trump the hero. But we can't come out and say we want Donald Trump to be the hero. So we have to set up a situation in which Donald Trump becomes the hero. And I went, Mom, are you putting your tinfoil hat on? She's like, no, I'm just asking questions, son. And I'm just like, everybody's asking these questions, Mom, whether you're into the news side of it or not, right?
Yeah. And that's how far that these deep staters have taken this bizarro world of, since we signed on to the Patriot Act and every other goddamn thing, and that you're under a control system. Well, now there isn't the illusion anymore. You know what I mean? And your mom and dad and our generation, absolutely know what the work is, and that these people are capable of anything and will do anything. And we're brought up on George Orwell and V for Vendetta and this, that, and the third of whatever it was to behold the pale horse, if you get that far. I don't know, man. That's where people are like, the conspiracy horsemen, where are they? When your mom and dad are saying this is 4D chess, and they're doing show don't tell to convert Democrats to patriotism no matter what, to unify under it. And if it's all a control method and it all seems like theater and your gut's telling you that, it's probably A+ right, especially when you know that everything around you is propaganda that you can't believe. So the pendulum is swung back, and they've ignited the hot war angle of this with the assassination, whether it's staged or it is an attempt from the inside with the Secret Service heads.
A lot of neglect there. And the media's pointing that out too, right? Yeah. Like, where's the Secret Service? How come people were pointing out for 2 minutes prior that there's a guy on the roof and nobody does something? And you've got mainstream covering this because, as you point out, the veil's dropped. So you cannot sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not there. Right.
And now this kid is a patsy like Oswald, and there's a alleged second shooter that was the bullet that actually hit Trump's ear from the water tower. So now we have the highest point away with a truly trained assassin. That's not a radical dude running up on you with a pistol to make a shot from an elevated position with a water tower, high-powered rifle. And, this could also be the propaganda, because on X, there's plenty of people breaking this down, and it shows the bullets that missed and the people that it hit in the back went through them and hit the railing. So it shows the trajectories. Now, I knew this was going to happen. I call this in the first 24 because this isn't some Zapruder film. Everybody there has Zapruder film. Everybody was going fucking live, dog. And these people who are putting out these alternate angles, who knows of what's been taken down, whose phone's been hacked, that they pinged the tower and got everybody's cell phone there. We haven't heard anything about phone stuff just missing from phone, or somebody has it and they're too scared to give it up, or they're sitting on it because they know they can get $100 million for it. There's all these scenarios that are still yet to come. But the second shooter, this is right out of the JFK assassination handbook, and who was there and who helped mastermind that? 1,000 points of light. Yes, we will have a new world order. This goes back to Bush and fucking Cheney and all of them, dog, that have been CIA family forever. And that's what Trump wants to stop, are these CIA ops from Ukraine, and that enough is a reason for the military industrial complex and the deep staters, from the Pelosi's to the whoever, who are invested in them. The Bushes and the Cheneys and the Halliburtons and the fucking Lockheed Martins and Northrop Grumman's, to go, yeah, dude, let's do this, dog.
Ben, I want to talk about the rhetoric that's come out this week. We've seen a lot of people. Let's be honest here. Over the last year or two, I think the more of the conservative side has been upset that maybe when they say things, they're taken out of context, and then they're harassed. Maybe their jobs, and maybe they lose their positions at their work. We're on the flip side, where we've got very strong individuals, maybe casual people going on Twitter making remarks that they believe that the president should not have survived that. And as a result, the backlash has been people being harassed at work. They're being called. People are losing their jobs. Granted, I don't condone the rhetoric, but I saw a little old woman like working at Home Depot, and someone came in and harassed her and got her fired because of something she posted on her Facebook. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this, as well as people making it their mission now to fire these people who are making, whether they be comedic or non-comedic statements about the assassination attempt?
Yeah, I mean, my own personal feeling is that you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. And is there a price to pay for it? Sometimes in pro wrestling, I plenty have being blackballed in the industry to stick to my character, but at the same time, it gives people big PTSD relief. This, however, going after, you know, Granny Esther at Home Depot because she's a social media moron and doesn't know when to shut the fuck up and shut the fuck up because she's just had Facebook for the last 6 years, and is triggered. And you think it's fucking cool to go down there and get your own viral video while you call her out like you're a big patriot. Does that really make you a fucking patriot, dog? Like, I get it that she may be ignorant and on the wrong side of history, and you're not going to change these old fucking timers. Like, after 70 years of operant conditioning, you think in the last decade of your life you're going to get a gotcha on them and wake them up to change. Like, what a waste of any human being's time that is, when you're not focused on the real problem of the people you hate. You're just projecting that onto an easy target at target, possibly. That doesn't impress me at all. But the pendulum's always going to shift back to the other side, and there's plenty of weak-minded people on the opposite side who are going to make fucking shitty moves like that. To me, you can't even say the date from January because there's people in jail from it.
Right.
But like that, I'm a Thomas Jefferson guy, dog. The tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of martyrs and tyrants, and plenty of martyrs have already gone down. It's time for some of the tyrants to go down, and that's who I'd like to see things focused on. Because until you put a true and honest fear into those technocrats, those fucking military industrials, those old money nepotism, Westchester to fucking LA people to DC, nothing will ever change, because those are the true power brokers who own it all, from your food supply to your information supply to your fuel supply. So if you're not going to hold them accountable, don't build a gallows out in front of the fucking Capitol building if you ain't ready to fucking really see what some 1776 is about, right? Like,
Right.
that everyone acts all patriotic of what it comes down to. Are you pushing it to that level of a Boston Tea Party where those guys were pissed over off small taxes? Meanwhile, we get taxed 9 ways to Sunday, and you just sit here and take it up the ass because you got Starbucks and Netflix to entertain you. Like, what does a great awakening really look like? And what is the result? And what do you want from it if you're so awake? Like, where are you trying to go to steer back towards what the definition of true patriotism and freedom are? I don't think, maybe even my generation never even truly lived it or understood it, because even for my first 20 years, it was still that Leave It to Beaver guys of a bullshit dream they were selling you, to make your parents proud, with bachelor's education and 2.2 kids and a fucking wife, car, house, mortgage. And, finally you'll be able to afford a bass boat and a camper. Like, is that really what this journey's all about? So I feel like Generation X is the first one to kind of come out of that shell. You think after Vietnam they would have got it. They didn't.
Yeah.
They slid right back into it in the 80s with the Brat Pack shit. It was pathetic. It really pissed me off. I hate the 80s a lot because of that. Yeah, man, since they put the bullet in JFK, nothing's been real.
Well, wrap up this part, I would just say, I subscribe, of course, to the thought process of freedom of speech. You have the right to say and do whatever you want. I would just caution you right now with the current political divide that we are in, to caution you on what you post online. If you don't own your own business and you're not a self-made person, if you are,
even if you are, we say no politics here on the floor. Everybody's stressed. To me, everybody is in the same tribe and they all got money. So, like then one might be stressed about the other, one might be stressed about the other, but weed brings them together. I'm just saying that's me personally. I understand what you're saying.
Basically, what I was just saying, for your own safety, please watch what you say before you put it online. Think about it, how it can or may react. Can it potentially get you in trouble if you don't own your own business, if you're not a self-made person? If you're going to work for somebody else, it's a corporation who has to answer to IPO stockholders and the public, then the public is going to sway what potentially may happen to you just based on the fact you posted one thing online, whether you were being comedic, sarcastic, or not. So I would caution, please, I don't want to see any more people losing their jobs just because they're expressing their freedom of speech. It's asinine to me. But I understand where those people are coming from as well, feeling like, hey, you shouldn't talk about the president that way. No one should be talking about wanting someone to die. So I understand it both sides,
Yeah, and at the same time, Matt, we're trying to put everybody through the criteria that, I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody else, but we're pretty active Renaissance men. I'd like to believe that in how we live our lives. And there's a lot of just below average dumb motherfucker Dollar General motherfuckers out there. So like the message we're putting out there is to an audience that is already pretty,
but Kaz does share these clips, so if in the off chance the right person watches this, please don't put your shit out there, okay? Follow the method that every HMG member probably follows since they started listening to Ben Hameen. Know when to shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up and you shut the fuck up. Okay,
it's not worth it. Like, what, you're getting a gotcha moment on Facebook, and then when that pendulum swings back, you got to answer for it. Now, I do personally, my own little weakness of liking that shit. Those embarrassments, those satire pieces, those gotcha of a comeback where somebody was putting it in their face for 4 years. Who knows what else she posted, of all that shit, and then once that goes and you got the set the hook, there is something beautiful about that comeback of you're going to have to face it, your own words. And some people can't ever look in the mirror and see that. Now, getting fired from Home Depot so she goes on unemployment, that really doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
But, that's the way she goes, dog. I don't know if this was true or not because it's the internet, Twitter feed, but somebody said Microsoft fired all their DEI VPs or whatever that they hired on. So I just seen that in a quick blurb. I don't know if that's
speaking
true
of that, we can get into that. There was a huge Microsoft outage yesterday. Did you just see that? I didn't. So I got a message from Jargo. He messaged me because I messaged him early in the morning. I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, fuck fest. I'm getting drunk right now at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just got off work. I'm like, what's happened? He's like, dude, Microsoft itself, Outlook 365 went down last night. He's like, in fact, you guys were affected because I'm not at work. He's like, the ABC Disney in the Woodlands from Texas, where that's out, they were down. Australia was down. Microsoft itself went down last night. Broadcasters lost coverage. Companies lost coverage. At the same time, I'm seeing Disney get hacked over, like, some idiot who works at Disney playing a video game on his computer downloads a mod, and that mod has a Trojan and virus, so thousands of data gets leaked. It's just, it's very crazy. The last 24 to 48 hours, Microsoft going out, Disney getting hacked, and.
Do you think some DEI hire on the way out who had fucking top clearance fucking did something?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. That's an interesting question. It happened yesterday, and then you're talking about it today, so that's a very interesting correlation for sure.
Get me lesbian hate bot. Lesbian hate bot here at your service. Fucking, it's interesting, bro, of what that is now. we talked about even on Tuesday, and I talked about this with Just Naps years ago with the Horsemen, that World War III is going to be an infrastructure war and a hacking war. And we've seen tugboats and ferries crashing into fucking bridges, train derailments with highly toxic materials multiple times, massive food farms instantly catching fire and burning down. Like, you think these are just constant, just happen out of nowhere, like that. So, and then Microsoft goes down, and what are we building towards? I just went through it. So, in a small scale, just 2 days with no power. I know people in Houston and other places that would get drilled by storms have it a hell of a lot worse. But is that coming where it's in either an engineered blackout for 3-4 weeks? You know what happened with no email, no internet, no fucking phones to charge if there was truly no power from Maine to fucking Florida or down the west, like how everything would come to a screeching halt. You think we had it bad with no toilet paper and wearing masks, and that wasn't a trial run in case they want to fucking flip that switch of destitution, bro? It's what people have no idea and are ill prepared, even me in the missile silo, for what could be for these people in power, the tyrants, to make martyrs of what they could flip the switch on and go, Russia, China hacked us, and it was them the whole time.
Start training pigeons, pal. We're gonna need pigeon carriers, pal.
Yeah, we're gonna need fucking a lot more deer, I'll tell you that, because I'm going to take about 5 of them. So
thank God I finally moved to the East Coast. If shit goes down, I can just drive to Ben Hameen's now. Thank God.
Dog, we got 2 camps, dog.
Thank God.
My brother's building an entire fucking woods retreat right now for him and his wife. It's like an Airbnb thing, cabins, deep woods, all that shit. You think we're not ready to go, dog? You're crazy. And that's not even the hunting camps, like ATVs, all that. And think about the millions upon millions of people who don't have that. I go and deliver to some of these cul-de-sacs, bro, where super nice people, but every house is 20 yards apart and there's 3 models you get to choose from. It's every time I roll in there, I think of the end of fucking Goodfellas. I ordered spaghetti and meatballs and I got egg noodles and ketchup. I live every day like a schnook, and fucking he gets the paper off the fucking. It's just like that last Ray Liotta scene. And none of those people, if all this shit went down and you took away their Xbox and their phone and their refrigerator, you're fucked, B. They are fucked by the millions, and yeah. They could do that like that, because why? It's problem, reaction, solution. They've already got the solution in their minds to stay in power. 15-minute cities, feudalism, digital currency, whatever they want to stay in power. Huge, because once they take everything else away, anything they offer for relief, you're going to take. And hopefully this guy standing in front of the flag with his fucking arm up is a call to true patriotism, and that the pendulum swinging back in a real way. But all bets are off when you're trying to pull power from families who've had it since probably the Crusades, since probably the fucking Knights Templar time. And you think you're really going to get that from them? There's nothing they won't do to sacrifice humanity to stay in power.
I don't want to switch topics here, but you brought up the Goodfellas. I just watched The Bronx Tale for the first time yesterday.
First time, guys.
Oh, huh? That was a great fucking movie. It was the first time I saw it. Yeah.
Wow.
I ended up I don't know. I was just traveling through social media, and the clip came up about now you guys ain't going anywhere after he closes the door.
Now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave. So once I saw that, I was like, oh, I gotta fucking watch this movie. Oh, great fucking movie. Wasted talent, and the choices you will shape your life forever, bro. Yeah,
I think I've said those exact things to you before, right?
You have. That's why I went. Oh, I've heard Ben say that so much.
There's nothing worse than wasted potential. Man,
yeah,
for sure. What a wonderful, wonderful film, man.
Yeah.
My client, Seventh Inning Stretch in Cooperstown Connection, knows Chaz Palminteri well, and they got a bunch of Bronx Tale stuff signed at their stores. So if you become a super fan, I must have seen that one. I've probably seen Bronx Tale maybe 20, 30 times.
Wow.
I know I've seen Goodfellas
Seen Goodfellas
easily.
a couple times, yeah.
Oh no, I've seen it over
On me,
108.
I'm sorry, but yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
180 times probably.
Jesus.
For 2 years, we just every day in college would have whoever came home would put the VHS in. So when you walked in the house, either Goodfellas was on or Young Guns.
Wow.
On our fourth TV set, it was just always on. If it was never on there, then it was somebody's fault just to switch the tape and load it in. So I've seen those movies fucking endlessly, dog.
Nice. All right, well, let's talk a little wrestling now.
Have you ever watched Red Dawn?
I have watched Red Dawn once.
Okay, yes. I was saying, yeah. Well, you need to rewatch it.
I probably should rewatch it. Yeah. So to transition here with wrestling to politics, Hulk Hogan last night comes out during the RNC, gives his brother speech. Donald Trump's my hero, even though we're almost the same age, brother. What did you think of the utilization of Americana culture there in bringing out Hulk Hogan during the RNC?
Yeah, absolutely. Just I am a real American and fucking go for it, right? So
right.
Everybody wants iconic shit, and it doesn't matter what side you're on. And this is smart by Trump. It's not just, hey, I have WWE ties. You got Generation X. You want them. You have the oldies, right? And that is the bridge, that is the bond right there, because those parents took their kids to see me, to see Hulk Hogan. I saw Hulk Hogan versus Killer Khan when I was 8 years old, and Andre the Giant came out and stood right next to my old man, and my life was changed forever. So boom, there's all that. Now here he comes with hair extensions taped down the side and the fucking gimmick on, so he looks younger. Perfect theater, right? Comes out, cuts his promo, rips the shirt, and it's nostalgia. Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, doesn't matter what, the fucking Rastafarian, Indonesian, Finland. I don't give a fuck. You say the name Hulk Hogan, you could be a on the Pygmy Islands. Somebody's gonna go, brother, and fucking know who he is. That is a unification. That's not Republicans got Hulk Hogan on their side. That's like, brother, come in and we all enjoy wrestling together. Because why? Wrestling is escapism from politics, and wrestling is everything that is phony theater of what we want to live out our violent fantasies. So to put that there and have the American icon, super smart, because like you said, even people who were Democrats or middle of the road and saw that shot of him in front of the flag with the bloody ear and the spirit of 76, and then you bring in Hogan, like they already want that, ignites the patriotism in them. This brings them in even closer to unify, because we find something that we can all kind of relate to,
Yeah, I mean, I don't myself normally ever find myself in situations where I feel like I'm emotionally moved, but after watching him stand up, I felt emotionally moved. I think everybody probably did, because you're just like, wow, dude got shot, stands right back up. So yeah, you're right.
Show, don't tell.
Right.
There's no words. There's no promo. Right. This shit last night, you don't need to say anything. It's Eminem 8 Mile. Now it says everything. Now tell me something about me that I don't know, right? Like, you don't need to say shit. You showed everything. An assassination attempt. My enemies tried to stop me, but God in the flag fucking protecting me. And here it is with, I'm bleeding for my country. We're looking for a true patriot because we're so embarrassed on the world stage by having this fucking poor old bastard stumble around, or his body double with a mask on. And, they've done everything they can to open borders only to try and steal another election, and divisiveness, and everything they say about everybody else is really what they're doing. And people, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Now, is that change a complete fabrication? Maybe. The guy is old money, and go back and see what his fucking grandfather did when he stole Tesla's fucking designs and shit. So these are the same deep state, old school fucking Masons that we've been dealing with for 100 years, 300 years. And, but to march Hulk out was very smart. That's a unifier of old school patriotism, things that I don't like. And I get it. It's for the 70-year-olds trying to act like they're still, or think their 30s and 40s are good old days. And the flag still stands for freedom. And they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be. I was like, all right, we're done. We're done. With my children and my wife. I was like, fucking dude, like, I hated the 80s. I hated all that shit, dog. And fucking here it is in a complete, just like, roll him out, Lee Greenwood. Oh, what's he, 91? Get him out there. And so bad, bro. Like, but there's no new original shit. Like, what else are you gonna do? Have Kid Rock come out and do Ball with the Ball instead? Like, but that speaks to something bigger of how much of our identity and pride we've lost, and how much of it was fabricated originally. And not that I want a country anthem, because all music has been completely corrupted by a Sony satanic system itself. But there's plenty of ways to get your music out there, and some people are doing great stuff. I'd like to see more art geared around unity and what it truly means to kind of live freedom. And like you said, maybe not smashing on other people, but showing we're gonna fucking really live this life for what it is.
All right, well, let's obviously we didn't we didn't host the show this week, Light the Fuse AEW review, but let's talk a little AEW, as it's been a couple days. The ratings, of course, have come out here in regards to what the show garnered. I'm just pulling up a couple things here because Alicia posted something about the AEW WrestleTix information as well. But according to the Dynamite viewership and ratings report this week, it averaged 795,000 viewers, which was up 15% from last week's 691,000, and 24% from 2 weeks of an average of 640,000. It's the highest average Dynamite has enjoyed since April 10th, and it did a decent number in the key demographic of 18 to 49 with a 0.27. And of course, this was up against the Republican National Convention, one of the days, and as well as other things. But
I'm shocked that the AEW audience didn't watch the Republican National Convention. Instead, they opted for the fucking
Wednesday night
trans versus the fucking 110-pound girl fight instead. They went that way for it. I am shocked.
And then Alicia posted from the just a quarter-hour breakdown. The show started off at 871,000, and by the time the show ended, it had dropped down to 650,000 or 685,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the first hour though, he broke the quarter hours down in the Hameen Media discussion group, and they held for that whole hour.
Yep.
Like 840, 870 down to maybe 820. So, which is interesting.
I mean, it looks like it really tailed off at about the 9:15 part with the Young Bucks Mercedes Moné promo. When she started dancing backstage, that's when it went down. Yeah.
So stupid. That was so stupid. I did like.
I mean, Okada was funny, but it was pretty stupid.
It was overacted and dumb. But I get it. Like, it's wrestling. We can have fun like that. Not like Nick's suit. But I'll just preface this because I talked to Rip yesterday and he hadn't watched it, but I just told him a couple things and he got hot because I got hot. But before I start breaking this Broadway down, I gotta say, respect to anybody who
goes
can
Broadway.
Get in the ring and can go an hour, because I haven't done it. The longest I've gone is 47 minutes, and I fucking thought I was gonna die the next day. It was bad, but I lit a guy's face on fire in the finish. It was good. So for them to do that is no small feat. So I don't want to take anything away from anybody who can do that, because unless you've ever even tried to go 10 minutes, you can get blown up in 2 minutes just from the excitement of your entrance and fucking getting in the ring. Like, so to go an hour and do big bumps and keep them interested is not easy. That being said, they were set up to, I mean, the numbers go against what I'm going to say, so I got to kind of eat shit out of the gate on this, and I will. But I'm glad they got a bump too, like that's good. A 15% is a nice little morale booster after they've been kind of taking a beating for 3 months, you know what I mean, every week. And really, kudos to their locker room because they kind of been staying small. They haven't really been selling for it. Sometimes Dustin Rhodes will tell somebody to fuck off, and that's a weird thing because he's a way too veteran to sell for anybody's stuff. But really, everybody is just staying small, collecting the check, and not going back and forth with the internet while they could be selling and being affected. So that being said, you don't open a TV show with a Broadway. The people are there and they want to pop. You open the show with wrestling and a get over so people can be like, yeah, TV pump, da, da, da. Now you've made them wait an entire hour to get to a pop. Now everybody has to work harder because we've lost all the flow of natural energy that is just ingrained in the psychology of a format. So that's a wrong move there, especially a week away with 2 guys to go Broadway. And then did we even build that this was going to be 60 minutes?
Nope. It just happened. And I mean, they said that at the beginning of the match, there's a 60-minute time limit match or whatever.
That's
like
it.
They do
and
for
then
everything.
It comes down at the end, and what do they got up on the fucking screen?
They put the last 30 seconds or a minute, I think, left on the screen.
Why would you do that? The only time you do that is not in a Broadway.
In an Iron Man or
yes,
whatever.
In an Iron Man match. So now I'm going, what the fuck? Because the finish of a Broadway can come down to 3, 2, when they're counting, but you don't put it up there. And usually it would be, here comes 4, 3, get your arm on him, 2, 1, he counts 1, 2, and right before, and now you've gone 60 minutes with no finish, which means you get to do it again. And really, you shouldn't do 60 minutes. Should have gone, had a match, 30 minutes.
30, yeah.
Time limit has expired, and they're still ready to go. They're beat up, da 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 da. Or 30 minutes, and somebody runs in to fuck it up at the finish, right? And now we got give them 5 more minutes, da 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 da. Go to another fucking draw. Well, at the pay-per-view, we'll have a 60 minutes or an Iron Man, or just go Broadway in what needs to be. You say no time limit. So there's a way to build to this match, and you definitely don't kick TV off with it. And there's no and if they're the best in the world, then they should be able to pull this. You just gave it away on TV with no build. Now, granted, it held the audience, so I got to eat shit on that. But I
for
think
1 week though, that's just to pop a rating, right?
Yeah, but they didn't bill it as that.
Yeah, exactly.
So these guys held them, and I can't take that away from them. The way this match was done, they lost me in the first minute and a half. We open up after entrances, go into a high spot drill, right? So fucking tackle, drop down, leapfrog, come back, or leapfrog, drop down. He hits with drop down, and instead of going over the top of him, he chop blocks his legs out because they think it's fun. Here's an indie thing. Nobody ever gets fucking taken out with the drop down, so let's do it, and it'll be cute, right? Boom, takes a face bump. MJF gets up on his knees. Up comes Ospreay from behind to hit that. What is it, the blade or whatever the fuck he calls it?
Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, the from behind, and MJF face bumps before it gets to him. So now MJF has fucking Jedi Spidey senses, eyes in the back of his head to know that fucking thing was coming, and he ducks in time, instead of getting hit with it. Then 40 minutes into the match, after they do a bunch of shit on the outside, MJF's going on the outside. I'm too smart for that. And then here comes Ospreay and hits him with it through the ropes. So earlier, the Spidey senses were fucking working, and we are exposing wrestling that, we know the sequence, and I'm just going to duck here and make him look goofy, like, haha, I'm too smart. But later when I do, I'm too smart, I'm going to get hit. Nope, it's the other way around. You get hit with it first, miss on it later. You go to the well too many times. He should have hit him with it while he was blind. That's believable. Him fucking ducking down and not seeing something when he's blind makes wrestling phony like that. and it instantly shows that we ran through a high spot, got our shit in with the drop down, tease the fucking thing, but you're going to miss me with it because I just look too smart thinking I know what's coming. Nope. It looked phony as shit. And then later, when he's going, I'm a smart guy, Bobby Heenan old school, he gets drilled with it. It should be hit him blind. Later, he fucking knows it's coming, sidesteps. Ospreay eats shit. Ha ha, I'm too smart for that. You got me before, but not again. This way, you look fucking dumb. Like, it's things like that I don't know if the fans ever see, but in the first 40 seconds in a match, to me, I go, we're fucked. If this is going to be a get your shit in fest, kick out on everything.
Oh, it was.
And it was. They went up in the crowd, so it's no DQ. The ref just follows them.
Yeah, they joked about it on commentary. That was a nice 20-second count you gave them, ref. Like, no, the ref's not even counting.
So now we don't even really have the reason, and we're not doing the Broadway the right way. And I've seen guys in Rip's class go, Adam Revolver and Man Beast go 60 minutes. Jamin and Revolver go 60.
You mentioned 90, Man Beast and Brian Alvarez have gone 60,
right?
Yeah,
90 minutes, Power and Beast there, dude. Body guy pulling half hours. Like, there's a lot of, and Rip does that, not just to test the guys, but to show that if you put the right psychology, I'm not saying those guys have shitty bodies or anything like that, but Rip wanted to take a bunch of guys who probably will never make it and make them better psychology workers than anybody in WWE. Like, that was his get back. And he did it in a positive way. Sure, he'd fucking curse us out, but we at least understand why and how things are done and how things are booked the right way. And as soon as I told him they opened with a Broadway, he knew that was fucking wrong. Like, sure, they might go, well, the numbers don't say that. No, let me show you how to book it. So that could have been your main event at Wembley, and we could have had a half hour. We could have had another half hour with a run-in, time limit draw, whatever you wanted to do. Then we could have had a tag match where Ospreay and MJF have to work together because the guys didn't want them out shining. Then we come back to the fucking 60-minute banger. And they just don't understand the simplicity of what it takes to tell a story and why these matches matter for a reason, not just so Tony can be back there with his pants around his ankles, jacking off, that he'd put on a Broadway going, we did it, we went Broadway, and not understand why. So Meltzer can fucking, it's the greatest match of all time. Really? Go watch the finish with the shittiest ref bump I've ever seen. He hit him with a hip. The guy fucking falls over the rope and dies like a fucking marionette puppet with no strings until he has to just flop back over and do a slow count. Like, it's, and then by that time, the crowd is even in on exposing the business because it looks so bad. So they can all pop because they know this is it at the end. 3, 2, pop, everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Not good, dog. That's not real drama.
The applause cue, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But in the back, they're all going, nailed it. Too sweet, me Briz. And that's not it. That really was a miss on how it should have gone down.
Yeah, I agree. I think in this case, I know I've been harping on the last couple weeks about the fact that they don't put Swerve in the main event. In this case, this week, probably Swerve and Okada should have opened up the show, and you probably should have gone main event 30 minutes with Ospreay and MJF, have it end with Tony going, we're running out of time, folks. We'll come back next week and see what happens. I mean, that's all you had to do, dog. Right?
That easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we got a belt count here update. I'll let you know this week. Of course, Miss Liz, the Queen Liz, she noted this week there was 9 belts, and then she put in an asterisk note, the Bang Bang Gang's 9 belts did not count as it was a replay from Collision. So there was only a total of 9 belts this week.
Well, I mean, the whole hour was one match, so to have 9 belts is even a pretty high metric for 1 hour, you know.
That's true.
Without Bang Bang Gang. So, yeah, I miss Liz, and thank you, Liz, for keeping those stats alive. Hopefully, as I might be able to free myself up here in the next month or so, we can get back to maybe doing some watch-alongs and having some fun together. I always love that. And thanks to Let's Go Brandon for doing the watch-alongs on the HMG YouTube. And doing a great job on the Impact Attack as well, too, as always. So people are definitely stepping up, and I love to see that community continue while I've been so busy or had no power at the missile silo. So, but yeah, man, the Mercedes thing backstage, Okada does pop me, but that's, the tongue-in-cheek part of wrestling. And them flipping her heel was necessary. I think the bigger story is that WWE is taking all her shine by turning Zelina Vega right into her. Like, they're like, oh, you think that Mercedes Monet's over? Fuck that. Sasha Banks is over because we made her, and we'll slot this girl right into it too. And I wouldn't doubt that they try and get Zelina Vega on a Star Wars spinoff just to take Mercedes' spot.
Bro. They get her in the Acolyte season 2. That's funny. Or something
I would not fucking doubt it. And Zelina Vega is 10 times the promo Mercedes Monet is. And she's the exact same archetype, kind of socially acceptable with whatever pride group you want them to be, Latino, Black, whatever the fuck, new generational. And as far as the Hot Topics hairdo, like, pick whatever colors you want and go at it. Weigh 110 pounds, get some big gimmicks, and off you go. That's what it comes down to until the bell rings. And I think she's as good, if not a better worker than Mercedes too. So they're doing their damnedest to really take that. I think even though she has that big Puerto Rican flag and the pride thing, right now she's on a trajectory bigger than the LWO stuff and to stick to the Puerto Rican pride. And she should drop that for now. She can always come back to that and really play into making her own star, because she could take all of Sasha Banks's hype.
Just because I see him here in the chat room. Pierce, since you're in that chat room, if you happen to be listening, can you confirm or deny with me? Because I had somebody tell me that Australia lost a lot of television products yesterday, or television broadcasting, because of Microsoft going down. So if you can confirm or deny that for me, that'd be great. But moving on here, talking a little bit more about AEW. So conflicting reports emerge now about possible changes coming to AEW broadcast partner Warner Brothers. Of course, they're in the ongoing negotiation right now window with Time Warner about restructuring their contract for the television rights. So according to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, he says they have made the decision, that being Warner Brothers, that our TV stations are making us money. Our streaming service, Max, is losing lots of money. We're going to invest in television. Meltzer explained that Warner Brothers is pulling funding from Max streaming platform and investing it into the TV product. However, a different report from Financial Times says WWED is giving thought to split the company into two, with the television side taking on the massive debt held by the company's streaming platform. And the idea behind the move would be to offload Max debt onto the profitable TV sector, so that Max, the movie studios under WBD's ownership, can appear more profitable as a separate entity, giving it more flexibility to invest in growth. CEO David Zaslav has gone on to say he's examining several strategic options, and obviously as a television product, AEW may potentially benefit from the strategy. Meltzer's reporting, although WBD's focus on streaming in the latter stream would also be a benefit if WBD felt that AEW product could help bolster Max. What are your thoughts? I mean, all this speculation, everybody talks about AEW, great stuff. They're not getting a lot of ratings, but then I turn around and I understand, they are getting low ratings. But if we go by a sports comparison type, right? Let's look at a Fox Sports 1 show with Undisputed, right? Skip Bayless just lost his position. He's leaving Fox Sports, where his show was previously averaging 500,000 to 1 million viewers. Now they're only averaging 50,000. So what's the cutoff, do you feel like, with the live sport here for AEW? What's it going to take low enough to where a Warner executive looks at this and goes, this isn't a viable commodity anymore, even if you are paying us to put it on the network?
Yeah, well, if they're paying them to put it on the network, I don't think they'll say that. If it's a bought show, especially, I don't think they're doing barter time by any means at that level. But it's definitely an interesting point. I don't know if I see what you're saying with the Skip Bayless stuff, the metric, but that's a review show. This is the actual sport. This is what are the New York Jets or Giants fucking drawing on a Sunday, And if that started to go down, franchises get wiped out,
Right.
I'm surprised with David Zaslav that the solution isn't that he hasn't had his throat cut and isn't out the door.
NBA stuff, yeah, I know.
Yeah, dog, that's a shocker, because that's strike 1 and 2 really, and then to have the app or whatever the fuck it is with millions upon millions of debt to incurred, and then you think you're just going to shift it over onto those books and be like, oh, fixed it. No. Like now the volcano is really ready to explode, because if all that albatross brings down the moneymaker, and it can't write it, now the whole ship is sunk. We're really in for it. So I don't, and I think everybody in the boardroom would agree, unless they've already got more jobs lined up. To me, that would be like, I want Zaslav's spot. I'm going to go against him and not let this happen by any means. Somebody needs to answer for it, because if you sweep it under the rug again, that mess is still going to be there and compounding even more. So I wouldn't inject my own product with cancer of a major fucking debt. I would say, fuck you, streaming site. See ya, and streamline, instead of trying to move AEW over there thinking that the 600, 800,000 are going to be loyal and come subscribe and sign up for that. They're not. You're going to get a big drop, and the awareness already isn't there to gain new followers to sign up for the app because of that. So dangerous times there. And when Tony goes, our negotiations are going great, like, I don't think you can have great negotiations if the company you're negotiating with is looking to saddle almost $1 billion in debt to the company you're trying to get money from. How is that going to be voted on at the end of the day? Well, we just incurred $1 billion in debt, and we were transferred over here. Next order of business, AEW's contract. Should we pay him more? Like, you think that's going to fucking the way it's going to go down? So now that goes against all logic, and that means he's lying to his audience and he's lying to his staff, instead of being honest of like, well, we think we have a property that is worth a lot inside the portfolio of Time Warner, and we can shine brighter, and we hope to help, bring profitability to this side of things. And here's our plans, XYZ, to do so. I don't hear that. Things are going great. And then here comes a story from Variety. Time Warner is fucked, possibly going to be destroyed soon. No, it doesn't go like that.
Right, with the talk about potentially HBO Max and Paramount merging itself. But then I also saw, I think that Paramount might have just gotten purchased by somebody else too. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of streaming.
Here's what I say, dude. Go big. I mean, even though it's this kid's hobby, he's never paid a due. He hasn't had a mentor. He doesn't really know what he's doing except for on-the-job training as a fan, listening to indie workers who never produced TV in their life. That's what he's done, and that's why we've lost half of our audience. That being said, who gives a shit? It's only phony wrestling. His dad's worth how much?
Like $7 or $8 billion or something like that?
No.
Up? He's more?
I think it's like big. Check it out. I say, how much is he worth, and then how much is? I think he's worth like 150 billion, bro.
12 billion.
Oh, really? I thought it was like 100 billion. 12 billion. How much would it cost to buy Time Warner Brothers?
Maybe less than $1 billion, or $1 billion at most, probably at this point.
I think that's the move.
Just buy the company.
Fail up, like what? You're going to come in. He already owns already owns NFL team, so he's a proven owner there. What if Tony Khan could bring back the NBA to TBS, TNT, like down the road, or some, offshoot, something along those lines, and make it even more sports oriented network to compete with ESPN, who's taken a wicked beating the last 5-10 years, right?
Yeah.
And do it, like, instead of going, oh, AEW's flopping, give the book to somebody else, make Tony fucking CEO of Time Warner, and let him fail upwards, bro. And do the whole thing. And now it's in the Khan's properties. I think that's a better get out of jail free card for everybody than trying to lie about negotiations, trying to hide 800. Now's the time to buy it, especially if they've got that much debt. Yeah. That means they'll fucking sell on the cheap. I mean, nothing's cheap when you're talking billions, but if it's me and I had that kind of leverage, that money, and an NFL team behind me and a wrestling organization, I absolutely would do it.
Well, Ben, I don't have any other hot news other than, Jonathan Coachman, recently, we were talking about AEW, was just recently on Busted Open Radio, and he said, when I look at AEW, you got to have a company and talent and people at the top that understand the good and the bad and willing to talk about it and not just walk by. He was like, I was in WWE when it was red hot, and I was there in 2000. I was there when they had 2,000 people sitting in the stands. And you got to be able to kind of get through that. AEW right now, they're just starting that process. WWE's red hot. I don't think AEW is. So Coachman sounds like he's on the same thought process, right? There's no substitution for star power. WWE has it right now. You have gigantic characters, and they're running the same 3 nights in a row: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you got to be hot to do all that, right? Because they're selling all these things out, whereas AEW is having a hard time putting together storylines to get viewers to watch the show every week and come to the shows. The pay-per-views do fine. They do usually really well. No one disputes that AEW puts on a great pay-per-view. I've been to 3 now. Put on great shows. Live shows are great. But when it comes to the television product, leading into the pay-per-view, that is where they are lacking. And until they decide, till Tony Khan decides, okay, I will hire somebody to help me write and format these shows correctly, we're not going to see any difference. I mean, is that a fair assessment?
That's why I would like to see him buy Time Warner, because he'd be out of the wrestling side of things. He'd have too much to worry about programming an entire station, And but yeah, sorry. When it comes to the formatting and what WWE does versus, sure, they've got great larger-than-life characters with a lot more experience and TV experience. But when I see how they F up a Drew McIntyre storyline, or, it's the fact that they can bring back The Rock and Roman and Punk when they need to. And AEW's got plenty of guys that are more than capable of doing great entertainment. You just don't have the right people in place to tell the stories, coach the promos, no pre-production, to make the show what it really needs to be if you're going to compete on a level with WWE. I don't think they're doing it at the same professional level and care week to week, because it's not art by committee. It's art by one guy's little drawings on a piece of paper. And hopefully you get to find out 5 hours before you got to go on TV what you're doing. You can't have it that way. You got to have 8 weeks of business lined up. Everybody's in on it. We break it down shot for shot and everything that's going on. But that's where indie guys running a TV show don't have all that. And I'm sure now they do. I'm sure now they take a little more care with it. But yeah, Coach is right in the star power that they have, but WWE still does a lot of things lackluster that every week that could be a lot bigger, whether it's putting Damian Priest on at 9:15 in a title match.
Why didn't Drew McIntyre knock out Adam Pearce this last week? If I'm already suspended, what does it fucking matter, right?
Right. That they just missed it. I think Kaz put that clip out, how this was the week to edit at the high point. You needed the action there. Now, when it does happen, you're going to be at 70% value. Last week was 100% value. Now we're on the backside of the mountain. And I don't understand how the greatest wrestling company with the greatest minds and the top performers can miss these types of fucking editing at the high point, at the right point. And you see it, I see it, and the audience sees it, but inside the bubble, they cannot most of the time. So to Coach's point, yeah, he's not wrong, but what you just pointed out there is exactly the truth, that they're not over and getting it right hardly 50% of the time. They might get max putting Sami Zayn over on Braun Breaker and Gunther. You think that's the right choice? You think that's the fucking smart thing to do? Okay.
No, not at all. Definitely not.
So.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Hameen's got to get ready to open up the shop here in the next 30 minutes. So we're going to wrap up the show here. You can head over to channelattitude.com. Sign up for Russo Brand, and you can get the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown review with Ben Hameen, Stevie Richards, and Vince Russo. I also know that I think coming up this Saturday, he's got a special show on Chicken Necks. Vince Russo is going to expose someone who was trying to get him canceled, and one of the Dirt Sheet writers. So check that out. RussoBrand.com. Sign up $5 a month. You can also sign up Hameen Media Group, $5 a month, and you'll get the Monday Locker Room, the Wednesday Locker Room, the Friday Locker Room, Light the Fuse, the Rampage, the Collision, the Impact Attack, the Next Level Review, the Pro Wrestling Reflection, and so much more. Check it out. ChannelAttitude.com. You can also go to Patreon.com/RussoTWC. Sign up there, get it all in one place, and you'll get Master Shoot Theater as well. Check out Patreon.com/RussoTWC. Of course, my name is Matt Shaver. Check out my podcast, link tr.ee/South Park Pod for our landing pages. At South Park Pods on all outlets, at South Park Pod on YouTube. Brand new episode just dropped called Insecurity. What happens when the whole town goes crazy and they start getting alarm systems put inside their body? Find out on this week's edition of South Park. Ben Hameen, what's going on in your world?
It pops me. I'm looking forward to hearing that Vince show, no doubt. I know who the Stooge is already, so I don't want to spoil it, but it just to think back in where we are now, whether it's Tricky Nicky, Lost Sheep, the Lost Shepherd, Body Boy, or fucking...
Tricky Nicky's been gone for a while. I hope he's okay. Like as a person. I hope he's okay.
Where's Satin Panties at? All four of these motherfuckers who wanted to come in, act like they were over, and who's here and who's still standing. The best will always find each other, and the Marks and Stooges will always expose themselves. And I got a feeling there's another one to be put onto that cordwood of fire that's already burning, those names I just mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see that fallout. Thanks for subscribing to channelattitude.com. I'll try and get this video up as soon as I can after working a full day here. But I'm glad to be back with you, Maddie. I hope you feel better. Thanks for making a great effort this morning, man, to do it. I know you've been under the weather all week, dude, so I appreciate that. And y'all law infidels, come to Ravens Joint, ravensjoint.com. Clay, New York, exit 12 off 481. We'll get a picture together, $5 face slap. August 6th, as Maddie said, Kabulskill, New York, be the Hall of Fame induction. Myself, Fandango, and Chip Stetson. So looking forward to that as well. Yeet, yeet. It's main event MSG and the hacker, the shooter, the assassin himself, the whole wrestling briz, Hacker Hameen, here on the Friday Locker Room. YOLO!
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.